Hello everybody, it's Merlin here and coming to you with another Gintama story arc review / reaction. And today we're going to be talking about the Mother arc. And very similar to Infant Strife, somebody just kind of randomly comes into the lives of the Odd Job group. And this time it's a mother. That's pretty much what they all call her too, because they kind of wake up and then she's just kind of there serving them food, kind of giving them some motherly advice. And it takes them all a little while to realize that it's not actually their mothers. She's just such a stereotypical mother that they all kind of assume it's theirs. But then, of course, quickly they realize that this is just some random woman who's coming to ask for their help, of course, as a lot of people often do. And she has come from the country into the city looking for her son, who apparently went missing years ago, and she wants to find out what's happened to him. They learn pretty quickly that he may have undergone some plastic surgery to change his face, and they think he's this guy with a huge afro. And then, of course, they run into this guy with the huge afro with the guy's name, and they automatically assume it's him. Though, spoilers, it's not, which I thought was kind of obvious. I thought it was kind of a big coincidence they discovered this guy right away. But the search for this guy leads them to this host club, and they kind of have to infiltrate it, and they decide to, well, pretend to be hosts. And that's probably the funniest part about these particular episodes, is just getting Gintoki and the others to pretend like they're hosts, and they all have their catchphrases. "Just do it" was pretty hilarious. And it turns out that this host club is being muscled in on by some Yakuza guys, and there's some rival gangsters that are just kind of muscling on their business, and they kind of have to discover who the son is, how they can help him, and of course they have to fight off these gangsters too. And that's pretty much the arc. Now, I will be honest, I think this one is probably my least favorite of the story arcs so far, which is kind of interesting because of all the arcs thus far, I think this one is the most complete. It feels like there was a fair enough balance between the comedy and the drama, and it seems like the story didn't feel like it was going off in any ridiculous direction. It didn't seem like there were certain parts of it that were left too unexplored. It felt like a pretty contained story, which is more than I could say for any other arc except for the Omibozu arc, but that's because that had a couple extra episodes, and I think it was just a more interesting story that was integral to the main characters. This one's just kind of, an interesting little tale. I feel like this sort of thing has been done before, kind of like with the Infant Strife arc, but I think that some of the comedy did work. I think that there was just mostly some interesting parodies and satire on the whole hosting thing in Japan, which I thought was pretty funny. I'm not going to lie, after seeing this, I thought if we followed these three just doing like a host series where they have to be the best hosts ever and fight off bad guys, while, just being, these male suitors, I think that'd be pretty hilarious. If that was like a spin-off, with just following these characters in that particular type of show, I'd be perfectly fine with that. Overall, though, I didn't think that the gangster stuff was that interesting. I didn't think the villains were that intimidating. I thought the mom character was okay. She was kind of annoying throughout most of it. But, it was all right. The twist for who the son was and why he did what he did, and kind of his shame regarding his mother and the reason why he hadn't contacted her, I thought was actually a decent twist. I didn't see that coming. And though I think this story arc was pretty mediocre, the resolution with the mother finally reconnecting with the son felt very genuine to me. I think that anybody with a fairly close relationship with a mom, or just a parent in general, can relate, that they're always going to care about you, and, they might be kind of annoying, but that's sort of the way it is. It's just kind of worth it. It was a very endearing and even almost tear-jerking. I thought that the ending of this story arc made the whole thing worth it, even though most of it was just kind of okay. Overall, though, I think the funniest stuff was just the whole host thing. Just them getting into those disguises was pretty hilarious. On the whole, though, probably my least favorite, but it was okay. But next time, we're going to be talking about one that everybody's really excited for me to see, and that's the Benny Izakura story arc, which I guess I'm going to watch the movie, because that's what everyone's told me to do, and then apparently at that point, I will be convinced of Gintama's greatness, so we'll see. But I'll watch that one, and then I'll let you guys know. Let me know what you guys thought about Mother, and what arcs are you looking forward to me talking about in the future. Alright, everybody, it's Merlin out. Stay magical.